Alright, so welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about something pretty cool and just something that you should know and where things are currently going on. This is just a very stacked year. It is a very stacked year, right? We first know that 7DS Origin is somewhere around this year, maybe push the next one. We know that 7DS will be doing an entirely new thing, stepping into a new chapter with Four Nights of Apocalypse. We also know that this is the ending of the story for the game itself. You have to understand that is some crazy stuff. You're probably, I don't know, but this is Netmarble, so who knows? We're gonna get like Liz 3.0, but still, probably you will have some very hyped festival units. You might even see Camilla 2.0, or Ragnarok might end, rather, OC might end before you even see Camilla. It's gonna happen, who knows? At this point, every video will have the name Camilla ended somehow. I will find a way to implement Camilla's name, either roasting Netmarble or saying that she'll never release. It's one of those ways that it'll be implemented, okay? To give her something, because she can't even get into the game. But, beside that, things are happening this year for Grand Cross, but it's not only just Grand Cross. You gotta look at it, gacha games in general. This is a very big year for a lot of things, okay? Now today, I wanted to talk about how this is the biggest year for both Grand Cross, and yet it's the scariest year also, because, damn, they gotta put up some stuff, otherwise we're screwed. Just seeing that now. So first, let me start with this way. But yes, Grand Cross itself, that should be the main topic of the video because this is a Grand Cross channel. Now, with Grand Cross, you know that this year we will see some collaborations. We will see some festivals that are the final festivals for the 7DS main story. So for example, a character like the Demon King, a character like the Demon King Zeldris, a character like Demon King Meliodas. These are possibilities. Chaos Arthur, other characters of that sort for the finale of the game. You'll see those, and those should be every single festival up until now, until the end of the game, should be a very high festival, theoretically. It should. Now, the thing is also that when you hit Four Nights of Apocalypse, that'll be a new point in the game where Netmarble really has to say, hey, we gotta do some stuff. We gotta really pick up some steam here and reinvigorate the game for the reason that, yes, they have gotten a little bit more, if you will, complacent. For the reason, you do see that some characters, some banners, are pretty awkwardly put out, right? Ludo really felt really weird in how they made him, where he doesn't really work in anything. He's just thrown out there. Fez King was also thrown at a weird time. The Premium King, not Fez King, but Premium King. There's also, if you look at it, Freya. All three characters were put out at a very weird time where it felt like they meant somewhere else. They were like, that king meant to be a Ragnarok king, I'm telling you. Just like Ragnarok Meliodas, it was the same way they made that king. They just turned him into like the Valentine's unit. I swear that's what they did. Then you look at Freya. She released at a very weird time also, where it was like she released after, two festivals. It was like they meant to release her way before that meta, and they just got screwed because they wanted to fit a collab in, and they were forced to push that back, right? That's where we currently stand in those things. Some of the stuff where if it was a double banner, if it was 2 units, if there was more content in some things, it would have been better. Now, let's just say there is a decent Netmarble mess up this year, or a very underhyped set of banners in a row. Guess what happens, right? There will be a huge amount of gacha games releasing this year, where Netmarble kind of has to step up their game when it comes to releasing stuff, and releasing pretty hyped or fun stuff, more content, more this, more that, more changes, more implementation of stuff. That's what they'll have to do in order to compete, because if you look at it, and yes, this is true, no, I'm not saying the game is dying, I think everyone knows this, there are very big games releasing this year. You have Black Clover Mobile releasing next month, potentially, which JP and KR will release next month. Global, we still don't know. You have Full Metal Alchemist potentially going global this month, or this year, which is also pretty kind of big. Honkai Star Rail is releasing next month. That is a very big game, okay? Now, I'm not saying that it'll take most of the player base. I'm saying that if Netmarble chooses to mess up a lot of stuff, people will try a different game for fun, and they might like that game, correct? Now, Zenless Zone Zero, that will also potentially release this year. Withering Waves will potentially release this year. You have 7DS Origin also, which is their own game, not really a correct statement to make. You also have Solo Leveling, though it's not a correct statement to make. That is also another game releasing. You have plenty more that I have not included. JJK is going to get their game later this year. We have, there's so many more. I'm going to forget it now. MHA is one from, what is it? What are the names? Collab. Collab is making 2 MHA games. Rather, 1 MHA game, 1 JoJo's game. That's happening. There's a lot of games releasing this year, and those are potential, by the way. Not those 2 last 2 are not confirmed for this year, but most likely. But everything else, there's a lot of stuff releasing this year. They have a lot of stuff to compete with, where they really can't drop the ball when it comes to some updates. Otherwise, yes, players will be like, oh damn, that kind of sucks. And if you look at it, they can't really slack when it comes to keeping the game up, because they want to go into Four Nights of Apocalypse. They might have to introduce so many new characters. There's so many characters that do hit the manga. And you'll see them when you kind of watch the anime or whatever. If you haven't already read it, go read it. There's a lot of characters to drop. And again, there's a lot of bosses, there's a lot of new villains, there's a lot of new stuff that they can definitely implement as content in the game. Now, they have, if you will, with recent festivals, and I do want to show that right now, there has been a lot of little lackluster content. We get Whack-A-Hawk, great. We get Tower Trials rerun, great. There is some weeks where you're really sitting here like, damn, what am I doing? And for example, Freya's week was super dry. I was so bored. I literally didn't do anything in this game. I did dailies and I moved on. That's all I did. I played the chapter, took me like 2 hours, moved on. That was it. That was my literal thing for that entire event. There was nothing during Freya's event. It was so boring. Which, at that point, you have to see that some updates can't just keep dying. You can't just keep doing Ragnarok and making it the worst. Like, every Ragnarok update sucks, bro. I'm sorry. Some of the content is so bad, it's not even funny. Some festivals also suck, where you're just, like, left with nothing to do. Again, most players really, if they're a newer player, if they're mid or whatever, in like the middle area, they have stuff to do. But when you get to that other point, there should be more things opened up. We had Labyrinth. Labyrinth took a while for a lot of people to complete. That was a good piece of content. There should be more stuff on the side, some more bosses, some more implementation of some stuff. But if you look at it, Four Nights of Apocalypse has a lot to adapt and a lot to work through. So they really, when that comes out, which will take a while, it will, that will be a big thing. But up until then, they can't just use that as an excuse like, oh, don't worry, we got big things coming next year. But this year, you have a lot releasing from other companies, which will kind of screw you up, which I do hope to see Netmarble does some stuff about it, where they do release some big things. I think that the game does have a lot of potential still, and they can definitely release some big stuff. They will. So again, hopefully the collabs don't suck utter balls. Like, for example, Stranger Things. I know people want it somewhat. Some percentage of the game wants it, but you have to understand there is so much stuff they could do with some really hyped collabs to bring some really hyped people to the game that like 7DS, or like give some more marketing to the game. Like, for example, maybe next month or this month you do have a huge collaboration before the big games release, or maybe this month really is Ragnarok. Next month they're going to do a huge collaboration because Honkai Star Rail releases on the 26th of April, and they want to go and counter that. Before that releases, they want to release something because they don't want Ragnarok dropping a super boring banner right when that happens. They want to release something big. They want to be a big hitter because also Black Clover Mobile is releasing next month. So boom, they're going to drop a huge collaboration. Who knows, right? There are things that they could do, and I do want to see them really kind of step it up because, yes, there's huge, like, listen, 2023 has a lot of games releasing, and I didn't even list most of them. Most of them I literally missed, and I didn't list. But there is a lot of gacha games, a lot of anime games, a lot of everything dropping, and things are still getting announced. There's a Don Maki game apparently releasing this year, which is sick. There's a DMC game, that is sick. The DMC game is beautiful. Can't wait for that. I'm hoping it is pretty kind of clean and everything, and it doesn't screw everything up. That is a cool game, which I'm super hyped for. If you know what Devil May Cry is, yeah, you got to see the game, bro. But yeah, that's there. There's a lot of stuff happening. So it's all up until then. We'll see how the game handles it and what their plans are. But there is a lot for us to do also here. There's a lot of festivals that they can definitely include and make some really cool stuff because it is the end of the game. You can wrap up so many characters super, super well. And when you do reach this point, there's a lot of hyped characters still left to see. Even though we've seen Escanor, we've seen Meli, we've now seen Mael. These are 3 big characters that people were looking forward to. But there is still more. There's Chaos Arthur. There's more that I won't spoil. There's Demon King versions of some characters. There is a lot of hype. So hopefully it's all done right, and hopefully Netmarble does pull off some cool stuff here. Otherwise, you know, I am curious to see. Though, also, will you be trying any of the games that I listed here? There's a bunch of games releasing. Though people will say they're not going to try it, they're going to try some of them when they do drop. Solo leveling is something that people are going to try. Black Clover Mobile, some people are going to try. Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero, Wuthering Waves. These are all games that people I know for sure might try here and there, and they might like it. So let's see what Emerald has in their arsenal, hoping that they pull off something cool. You know, that's just my take, my 10 cents, and the thing I want to talk about here today. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I'm not saying the game is dying. I'm saying that they need to step it up a little bit to keep most of the players still engaged and having fun and not trying out new games. You know what I mean?